Hello lovelies. It's dressing up time again. We're drumming today at a medieval fair, and the organisers have asked us not to wear our usual red and black, but to wear the green that folks normally wear for the Jack in the Green festival, which I don't do. So although I have some green stuff, it's not been used for a while, so we'll see if it still works. That could be interesting. And yes, so a slightly different approach. I normally do black one side, red the other. I think I'm going to have to do green all over. Well, not all over. I did that once. Very hot day. The only time I've done Jack in the Green. I did my entire face green with face paint. And it was very hot, so it split into blue and yellow by the time the day ended. But it was my take on it. So time to dress up. And the hairspray certainly worked. Yes. I do go out looking like this. It's bizarre, isn't it? There is that moment when you have to kind of stop at traffic lights and people acknowledge you. You know, they put their hand up and you see them look and then kind of shrug their shoulders, because people around here are used to this type of behaviour. Well, nothing says medieval and nature like plastic leaves. But I've greened up my drum a bit. Traditional medieval footwear too, but on days like this, it's definitely about comfort, not authenticity. So this was my view as I walked from where I'd parked, which was outside my friend's house. Thanks, Duckers, you didn't know I was there, but I was. And you can see there's been quite a bit of yarn bombing in Battle. They've been very busy. On the Abbey Green, there was a sort of marketplace, different kind of stalls. There was a set of stocks if you wanted to throw wet sponges at people. And of course there's the Abbey, which is the centrepiece. This is where we gathered. There's normally drinking involved when we drum. So this was outside a local hostelry. It's important to keep fluids up on a hot day. And if you keep fluids up, then naturally this becomes the queue for the ladies' room. It was ever thus. There were a few other things in the parade. I'm not quite sure what these guys were doing, but they were keeping busy. And this guy here, we know best as Pete. He's a good bloke. Couple of giants in the parade. The one on your right is Hannah, who is a local legend. And the other one, obviously, the Queen, as it was Jubilee weekend. I caught a bit of sunshine yesterday. Now, I've just mentioned one of the giants, Hannah. Giants, they're also quite a Sussex thing. Giants used to walk Sussex, apparently. I mean, some quite tall people here now, but the announcer at yesterday's event at the medieval fair was not great. He wasn't terribly well prepared. And he kept getting names wrong. He called us a different drumming group name. He forgot to say things. He just wasn't prepared. He should have written down a few notes to follow. So he recognised the giant that was an effigy of the Queen. The other one he didn't know at all and said, "Oh, I think it's a witch." And people were shouting, "It's Hannah! It's Hannah!" Now, I had no idea who Hannah was, so I've subsequently looked that up. And I will share with you if you're interested. And even if you're not, I'm still going to share with you. So Hannah was a 17th century woman who lived in Hastings, and she rid the town of bailiffs on the introduction of the hearth tax. This was a tax on hearths or fireplaces. In theory, a tax on wealth, because the bigger the house, the more the hearths. Taxes are taxes, aren't they? I couldn't see how she rid them. May have given them a stern talking to. Don't know. But she rid the town of these bailiffs, as well as keeping an eye on French invaders. So there you go. That was Hannah. And she made an appearance yesterday, which, considering she was a 17th century character, I thought she was looking pretty well. Hello, lovelies. It's Tuesday. So you saw the footage from Friday. As is always the case, I can't record when I'm drumming. I kind of need my hands for drumming. I've been looking on YouTube for footage that others may have recorded. Sadly, can't find any, but you saw the scenery, and in Battle, that's actually what counts. So that was Friday, sunny day. The weather went downhill a bit after that. It's been a bit soggy, but most people are back to work and I'm not. Which is possibly one of the reasons why I have a couple of quick FOs to show you. I'm about to record for them for the month end podcast. The first is a project that I started at the beginning of the year. I've just realised I didn't weave an end in. I didn't cut an end off, rather. And I started it as part of the New to You mal. So that was for people to try a new technique. And I had seen a video of crochet using a double-ended hook. And if you go back to my January podcast, you will see the details there. But I have finished this basket. So it has handles, the little basket. It is incredibly heavy. The yarn is the kind of t-shirt yarn. It's leftovers from the textile industries, and it is incredibly dense and heavy. So it's not something you'd make a garment from. The only thing I can think you'd make apart from a bag would be a weighted blanket, because it is very dense. But made this little basket, so quite like the texture of that, which is what it was all about. Don't know that I'll rush to do the technique again. It was a nice combination of technique and yarn, but I've kind of done it now, and that's fine. So, but I have a little. This will sit next to my knitting chair, and we'll have things in it. But I will talk about it in detail at the month end if you are interested in the construction. And also my sister's sweater. Ta-da! It is done, which is a good thing because tomorrow is her birthday. So it is done. I'm about to record the details for the podcast, and then I shall wrap it to bestow upon her. Don't know if she's ever been bestowed upon. She has now. Yep, so a couple of FOs, so glad to get those off the hook and needles. Actually, you can see the next thing I started. I said I would probably start another scrappy project, and what I did once before is had some fine weight grey boucle yarn, which I plied with my 4-ply weight scraps, so fingering weight scraps. I'd put those into a magic ball and then plied them with the 4-ply yarn, the boucle yarn, and made a sweater. And I have done something very similar. This is going to look a bit odd because it's on the needles and I'm getting to the not long before I split for the sleeves. But the same principle, just slightly different yarns. So again, magic ball of 4-ply fingering weight scraps. But this time I have plied them with some very fine viscose that I had on cones. So this is from Texair Yarns, which is a company that no longer exists. And you can see that that's a very fine weight. So I think I've got about 3 of these plied with the 4-ply in a variety of colours for the 4-ply anyway. That stuff's all cream. And I'm doing the Whatever by Julie Knits in Paris, which was a gift for me from Kellyanne of Yarn Tales by the Sea last year, I think. So this is where I've got so far. Another inch or so and I split for the sleeves, so then it will start to make more sense. The collar design is my own. The initial pattern is just a crew neck. I wanted something that in winter months would sit warm on the back of my neck, so that's why I've put that longer, like a roll neck but a split instead. So that's that. It's growing really quickly because it's on 6mm needles, which, given how fed up I got doing this because it felt like it was taking forever, this feels like a bit of a palette cleanser. So I'm enjoying this, and you will see more of it as the month progresses, and no doubt some other cast-ons, because why not? Cheers. Hello lovelies, how are we? Sort of halfway through my holiday time. Done some stuff, sorted out some cupboards, you know, those sorts of things. And feeling like I haven't achieved enough, you know, that question in my head I was talking about last week. But I finished Sister's sweater. Here's a picture of her wearing it on her birthday. She liked it, it fitted. That's the result as far as I'm concerned. So we're all good, we're all good. Okay. Haircut tomorrow. Race for Life on Sunday. This is an activity that happens in various locations around the country at various times. It's a 5k walk or run, or some people do a 10k, to raise money for cancer research. So I'll be doing that with assorted family members, and then out for lunch afterwards. So yeah, that should be good. And then another week off. And I'm meeting, going to see my mate Mand for a cup of tea. She very kindly had the dog for us yesterday, and we went to celebrate my sister's birthday. So Heidi had Auntie Mandy. Lucky Heidi. Yes, I'll see Mandy for a cup of tea next week, having lunch with another friend. Just sort of more pottering, really. Yeah, that's kind of how it's going. So I hope you're all well. I hope everything is going well with you, and that you are in good spirits, hopefully in good health too, and that you're plodding on fine. Take care, everyone. Thanks so much, and I will see you next week. Cheers. Bye-bye.